Lightning, thunder, hail, torrential rains, power outages, fierce winds, and tornadoes. We had it all but the tornadoes just a week ago, as the first spring severe storms roared across green country. All of it as spring's deadly tornadoes are still fresh in the minds of survivors.
This tornado happened so suddenly, so quickly.
When severe weather strikes this spring, know that the 2 News Works For You Storm Shield weather team is ready to keep you safe.
2 Works For You Storm Shield Severe Weather Safety. Brought to you by Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Welcome and thanks for joining us for our weather special tonight. I'm 2 News Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. The 2 News Works For You Storm Shield weather team is keeping you safe this severe weather season by combining the talents of our experienced staff of meteorologists, our elite team of certified storm chasers, and our reporting crews. Together, we show you how and where storms are brewing, what storms look like on the ground, as well as the devastation some will leave in their wake. Keeping you safe begins with knowing what to expect this spring. So here is my spring forecast. And to do the spring forecast, let's start out with averages. On average, in Oklahoma in April, 12 tornadoes. In May, it ramps up to 22. We have not had a tornado touch down in the state of Oklahoma in 246 days. So as we go deeper into April, we may get some setups that would suggest some severe weather, especially late in the month, with a couple of small chances perhaps around the 23rd and the 24th. Look for some cool days on the weekend of the 18th and the 19th. Going into May, this day here, May 2nd, May 3rd, that's been a signature storm in our weather cycle that's been coming back around. And so this might be one of the stronger storms we see in the spring, a couple of mild setups in the middle part of the month, and maybe again toward the end of the month. So our 2014 spring forecast looks like this: below average temperatures and below average rainfall. Unless you live east of Tulsa, then you may end up with about average or even slightly above average rainfall. Chance of a frost into early May, I think, is possible this year. Severe weather, it looks like it's going to be more active in May. Want more information? How about this? You can read about the spring forecast by visiting kjrh.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at @TheBrettAnthony. That's a look at your spring forecast. And up till now in Oklahoma, we have not had one single tornado report this year. But tornadoes can happen at any time of the year and any time of the day. It's why we're always here to bring you the latest information on where storms are brewing and where they are heading. May 31st, just around sunset, an EF2 tornado punched across Belinda Russell's Broken Arrow neighborhood.
This tornado happened so suddenly, so quickly.
We first met her the morning after. She told us she was grateful her husband had been watching weather warnings on television.
And you're watching where it's happening somewhere else, but then all of a sudden it's like, it's you, and it's coming and it's happening. You don't even have time to think.
All they could do is grab their dogs and run downstairs to hide in a closet, just as the twister slammed through their home of 16 years.
Coming out of the closet, it was extremely dark, and we could still hear things falling from above, and so we're being cautious coming out. We're coming up the stairs and just hoping that we won't find anybody that's been hurt.
Coming back to this neighborhood about a year later, you can hear signs of progress. They're working on that house. The trees still show the signs of the tornado that touched down and skipped through Rolling Meadows Estates.
Oh my goodness, we lost over 30 trees.
This lifelong Oklahoman says she learned a valuable lesson from the tornado that destroyed her home. Prior to this, she would sometimes just go in another room if weather warnings were on TV. Now, she's got better advice.
Don't be like I would be, just go in another room and ignore it. Pay attention and be alert and do take cover or do take precaution.
Precaution, one thing you definitely need, and you also need a plan for where to go if a tornado warning is issued. 2 News anchor Max Resnick shows us places you can seek cover in your home if you don't have a storm shelter.
When severe weather strikes, the best place you can be is inside one of these storm shelters. But what do you do if you don't have one? I met with the director of the Tulsa Area Emergency Management Agency to get an idea of how you can stay safe if you don't have a storm shelter.
If a basement is an option, of course you want to go there. Again, low interior room.
Emergency Management Director Roger Jolliffe says going down to your basement, if you have one, is the next best option. Down here, you're protected from windows, and the structure above you guards against flying debris. But of course,
there are not a lot of basements in Tulsa. We encourage people to go to small interior rooms away from windows.
Small interior rooms include places in your home like your bathroom, a small interior hallway, and best of all, one of your closets.
A closet would be better because it's a smaller room with more structure around you, less chance for debris to hit you.
In order to make sure that you're able to ride out the storm safely, Jolliffe says it's important that you create a plan now, both with your family and with your co-workers, so you're not scrambling when severe weather returns to green country. Max Resnick, 2 News works for you.
And excellent tips, Max. And just to reinforce again, it's important to take shelter during a tornado warning. In your home, the basement is the safest place if you do not have a storm shelter. If you do not have a basement, then you need to go to an inside bathroom or closet with no windows. Try to grab a bicycle or motorcycle helmet of some kind if you have one, and then put a mattress or pillows on top of you to protect against flying debris. If severe weather hits when you're outside your home, you also need a plan to stay safe. 2 News anchor Stephen Romo shows us what the experts say is the best way to protect yourself.
Unlike planning for safety at home, knowing what to do while out and about during severe weather is not always easy. Some businesses have procedures in place, like the Promenade Mall's shelter plan for customers.
Each store has already been through their emergency procedures.
Big box stores may seem safe, but looks can be deceiving. Often the roofs of these buildings are only supported by exterior walls, not a good choice for weathering a storm. If you can't find better shelter, experts say it's best to position yourself near something stable, like columns. If you find yourself in a sturdier building, you should move to the basement or to the ground floor. The rules for protecting yourself in a home would apply. Move away from the exterior walls and windows. The National Weather Service says a car is among the worst places you can be. Winds can pick them up and throw them like toys. Getting out of your vehicle and moving to a low-lying ditch or a culvert is actually a better option than staying inside your car. But if you are forced to stay in your vehicle, you should get as low as possible while keeping your seatbelt on, and you should use your arms to protect your head. No matter where you are, remember, it's flying debris that can cause the most damage and injury. Stephen Romo, 2 News works for you.
And of course, we are always working to help keep you safe. So something new this year, the 2 News Storm Shield weather team has an elite team of certified storm chasers. It's their job to get out in the field to put their eyes on the storms. Information they gather helps us determine when you need to take shelter. Storm chaser and 2 News Storm Shield meteorologist George Flickinger shows us how our chasers' decades of combined experience teamed up with sophisticated technology helps you stay safe.
This is a bird's eye view of Storm Chaser 2, loaded with all the storm chasing gear we need so that we can show you the storms. We have 2 computers back here. Both of these are actually hooked up to the internet. In fact, Storm Chaser 2, it's like its own rolling Wi-Fi hotspot. This computer is used to get video back to the television station, so when we're driving down the road, whatever we're seeing out of our front windshield, when you see it is exactly when we are seeing it. This second computer is a computer hooked up to the internet, and with this we can check the latest weather data. Now we're looking at the top. We're literally on the roof of Storm Chaser 2. With this weather equipment, we can measure the temperature and humidity of a particular storm. With this equipment, we can measure exactly how much rain is falling with an electronic rain gauge. We can also let you know exactly how strong the wind gusts are. The faster the wind cups, the stronger the storm. When our elite team of more than a half-dozen certified storm chasers head out, they're also equipped with high-tech tools to monitor storms.
I can do storm tracks, I can see where the storms are going.
The camera mounted on Denny Bryson's dashboard lets you see him chasing last Thursday's severe storms that pounded communities with hail up to the size of tennis balls. Bryson has been chasing storms for 19 years and Tim Lawson since 1989. He believes that having trained eyes on a storm is crucial for safety.
So I don't think they'll ever come up with the technology that can beat the eyes on the ground.
David Williams has been chasing for 11 years.
It's sort of a positive asset that Channel 2 has with storm chasers that are willing to go out there and report directly to them what they're seeing on the ground and giving them feedback.
People rely on us, you know, small communities, large communities. They rely on TV, they rely on us being out in the field, they rely on the information to to see if they need to go to shelter.
Meet more of our elite team of certified storm chasers and get a chance to ask them your questions during our special Storm Shield 2 Storm Chasers webcast immediately following this broadcast on KJRH.com. George Flickinger, 2 News works for you.
And I think when it comes to severe weather, everyone is looking for that visual confirmation on that storm. Knowing what to and where to go are important when storms strike. To develop our forecast, we use information from weather data stations called the Mesonet. 2 News meteorologist Brittany Rainey shows us how it helps us predict where and when storms are brewing.
And there's no other state that has a network like us, and especially a network that's been able to stay around for 20 years. So we've been providing real-time weather data every 5 minutes. 4 inches an hour is a deluge.
Our Mesonet is the first ever mesoscale climate network in the world. And mesoscale, that's the key. Mesoscale might sound like technical speak, but it's important because it refers to weather events that occur on a smaller scale. For us in the heartland, we use it to get a more precise look at storm cells and tornadoes. The Mesonet gives us a better idea of where these storms will occur.
When that line of storms is moving through, when it hits one of our Mesonet sites, it'll give you a real-time verification of the wind gusts and the potential for maybe severe winds that might be approaching your area.
Here in Oklahoma, there's at least one weather station in each county measuring everything from rainfall to wind speeds to temperatures. With more than 120 stations in the state, identifying smaller features like the dry line and outflow boundaries becomes easier.
And those, of course, are where the focus of storms typically initiate.
The Mesonet helps meteorologists at the National Weather Center in Norman issue severe weather watches and warnings, which gives us the lead time to keep you safe when severe weather strikes. Brittany Rainey, 2 News works for you.
If you want more information about the Oklahoma Mesonet, you can just visit our website, KJRH.com. Still to come, details about how you can win an above-ground safe room. But just ahead, dangers that come in the wake of torrential rains, plus how fresh eyes are finding new ways to keep children safe at school during severe weather.